93 gigawatts of coal, is that what I heard in China?
Yes, just in 1 year.
Yeah, so the witnesses stated it very well. Do you know how much the subsidies are that we pay for these intermittent sources of power? $50,000 an acre. We are destroying some of the most productive farmland in America as we speak, including in places like the great state of Wisconsin. And guess what's happened to the great state of Wisconsin and their utility rates since then? We went from the second lowest in the Midwest to the second highest. And that's because of this movement towards intermittent sources of power. When the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine, you do not get power from it. And you have to keep the base load power. You have to, unless you want to be like Germany and fall behind the rest of the world, you cannot decommission all that you have. Real quickly, in regards to U.S. Wildland Fire Service, I'm looking at the budget and the numbers we have here that were provided to us. It appears there's a significant increase. Is that correct, Mr. Secretary, in regards to the U.S. Wildland Fire budget?
Yes, through the unification of the existing groups across BLM, BIA, and National Park Service and U.S. Fish and Wildlife, those four, plus the U.S. Forest Service is included in this budget, also being included in that thing. So it's a transfer from the USDA budget as well.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I want to thank the Secretary for presiding over that, because what is the one thing that we've been hearing as we've traveled around the West is that there are all these silos that have been out there, and they did not coordinate amongst themselves to fight these fires. And stopping the scourge of fire in the West is probably the greatest challenge you have, other than producing more energy for America, and I want to thank you for doing that. I want to get on to another issue that's quite different. The Obama administration opened up a loophole in our immigration policy in regards to paroling Chinese nationals in without having to get a visa. The Biden administration codified it. Are you taking action, working with the Department of Homeland Security to shut down that loophole that allows communist Chinese to come into America and then have children here, have babies here, and then they become citizens solely as a result of having birth in a place that is part of America?
Thank you, Representative. Yes, birth tourism is is on our radar, and in particular, we've had some issues in our territories that we manage in the Pacific, where China was exploiting low-cost, high-volume tourism visas to flood some of our places like the Commonwealth of Northern Marianas Islands with visitors. And so it's a real thing that we're directly involved in. So thank you for bringing attention to this issue.
And you are taking action, is that correct?
Well, we're working with those that control immigration, certainly.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, something really important that we do. There were more births that were going on in the Mariana Islands by Chinese nationals than there were of Americans. As a result of this loophole, it's important to shut it down. National Park System, do you believe in public-private partnerships?
Yeah, absolutely.
And tell us some of the actions that you're taking to make that happen.
Well, I'm pleased to say that, again, we've got a number of organizations like the National Park Foundation, which is raising a record amount of dollars. We're excited, would invite all of you to join us around the 4th of July for the opening of the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library and Museum. This is a over $450 million project. 100% of that is non-federal money coming from the private sector. It could be a role model for the kinds of things we could do in entrance communities to our 63 national parks.
We should be doing far more of this, shouldn't we? Because there's an enormous wealth in this country that would like to participate, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I want to talk about EJA real quick here in closing. Equal Access to Justice Act, I'm sure you're familiar with it. Extreme environmental groups have used this to be able to shut down project after project across America, including groups like the Natural Resources Defense Council, and they fundraise off from it. What actions has Interior taken, if any, to try and create better reporting and transparency around that so these extreme environmental groups aren't ripping off the taxpayers of America?
Well, we're certainly working on trying to create the transparency around these organizations that position themselves as somehow conservation groups but don't spend any money at all on conservation. They spend it all on lawsuits. They have high-paid lobbyists and CEOs as their officers. They tell people to be afraid, send us a check, we'll solve the problem. They sue, and under IJA, if they sue, they settle, they get the taxpayer is on the hook for paying their legal fees, and it's become a giant business. I mean, there's a business model of involved in suing over these issues and then turning that into a profit center. And I think Congress should take the steps to make sure that we're not using taxpayer money for groups that are blocking America. We know in this country that we can do two things at the same time. We can build great things and we can protect the environment. This is a false trade-off that's being presented by these organizations, and we shouldn't be funding them with taxpayer dollars.
Who knew these massive environmental groups would be ripping off the taxpayers of America?